Hello everybody, welcome back to the Chapple Show. So what we're doing today, this is a fairly important video. It's going to be, I'm warning you guys, it might be a little bit boring and dry, but this is really important for understanding what it's like to run a business. So we're going to be going through Amazon's annual financial report, and I'm going to be showing you guys the numbers and the breakdown. So why am I doing this? Because as you guys know, I'm setting up an e-commerce marketplace, and I'm going to be looking through my competitors. I'm going to be looking through Amazon, Etsy, eBay, all those giant marketplaces. I'm going to be seeing how they're growing, what they're doing, what their expenses are, and I'm going to be learning with you guys. And I promised you that I would be showing you guys what it's like to run a business. And part of that is learning what your competitors are doing. So we're going to be going through this Amazon annual report here. I'm warning you again, it's probably going to be very, very dry. And it's going to be a lot of numbers, but again, it's very important. Maybe you guys can, use this video to learn if you want to invest in Amazon or not. By the way, my coding's been getting a lot better. Officially, as of today, I have completed high school level, so up to grade 12 level of computer sciences in essentially about a week and a half. I've done a bunch of the tests and exams, and I've passed it all. And so I obviously don't have a lot of the stuff memorized like a normal high school student, but my coding, I'm understanding it. It's a lot simpler now in my brain than I thought it was 2 weeks ago. So I'm a lot more confident in my coding ability, so I can probably build this marketplace. It's just going to take a while. Anyways, we're going to get into this report here. We're going to talk about, actually, the first thing I want to mention here is that they, in their annual report, they actually post word for word some of the stuff from their 1997 annual report to tell you what it was like. And so it's some funny numbers here. They're talking about Amazon in 1997. Sales grew from $15 million to $147 million that year. They went from customer accounts from 180,000 to 1.5 million. That's actually a lot. That's still a lot for today. And look at this, look at this. We established long-term relationships with many important strategic partners, including America Online, AOL, which is Yahoo, Excite, Netscape, GeoCities, Alta Vista, At Home, and Prodigy. Holy shit. Only 2 of those are still around. Is Prodigy? No, Prodigy's gone, right? None of these are, except for Yahoo, right? AOL is technically still here. But are they really still here? They offer dial-up still, so I don't know. I guess my dad still uses AOL, so they're still around. Okay, we're going to talk about the infrastructure here, so of 1997. It's just fun. This is going to be a little bit of a long video, but, 1997, we grew from 158 employees to 614. Our distribution capacity grew from 50,000 to 285,000 square feet. Wow. We have 200,000 titles this year. Actually, that's still a lot today. So anyways, that's kind of funny. We're going to move on here to page 23, I think. We're going to get into some of the boring numbers here. It's page 22. So, oh yeah, this is just something I'll mention for 5 seconds, is that they have to have more office space than this, right? They only have 172,000 square feet of office space. That doesn't seem right here. I couldn't find, that's all they posted in here. I mean, they have less office space than they did in 97. And distribute, fulfillment and data centers, 97,000 square feet here, unless, oh, it's in thousands. Okay, that makes a lot more sense now. So they have they have what, 172 million square feet. That sounds a little bit better here. All right, that makes a lot more sense. Jesus Christ, because I went over that 3 times and I couldn't find the in thousands. I swear it was more. So they have 172 million square feet rented out in office space. Wow, that's a lot. That is a lot. 172 million square feet. Okay, we are going to move on here to this is basic for any annual report. It's selected consolidated financial data. We're going to dive into this a little bit more here. But their net sales, 135 billion. That's the number there, right? 135 billion in net sales. Yeah, that's right. 135 billion, 4 billion in operating income, $2 billion in net income. Let's see, earnings per share, that's all stock stuff. So again, this has gone up every single year since 2012, in the last 5 years. However, their net income, so anything in brackets is a loss, by the way. So when I've been saying that Amazon, in 2014, 2015, so operating income, let's see, I was talking about the losses here. So anything in brackets is a loss. And so they had a loss of $241 million in 2014. That's pretty significant. I don't know what happened during that time, I guess we can look into that a little bit more. And then they jumped to a $596 million profit the next year in net income. So I don't know. We're going to see if we can find out why that is. Their balance sheet, $83 billion in assets. Jesus, that's a lot. So we're going to dig into, I highlighted some stuff here. I haven't gone through it all, to be honest. I just highlighted the stuff I'd probably want to talk about. So I'm learning with you guys here. So the results of operations. So their net sales include product and service sales. Product sales represent revenue from the sale of products and related shipping fees and digital media content where we record. Okay. Service sales, third-party seller fees. So this is their revenue from essentially the commissions from Amazon that they get. So related shipping fees. I think AWS is Amazon Web Services or Web Sales. I'm not 100% sure on that. I could not find that. I could probably do a search on that, but who cares? Okay, so their net sales, $79 billion they picked up in 2016 in revenue. For North America, $43 billion was international, $12 billion was web services. So $135 billion in revenue 2016. So that sounds right. That sounds about right. Here's what's interesting. 23% growth in 2014, 25% 2015, 25% 2016. For a company that has revenues of over $100 billion, that is insane. They're still growing at a 25% year-over-year rate. That is, I mean, if they keep going at this pace, we're talking, next year they're going to have an additional 25 to 40 to $50 billion in revenue potentially if they hit over 25%. So that's insane for a large market cap company. And you can see here that that's just North America. So internationally, they're growing, I guess, at the same rate. And their web services have been growing at 49%, 70%, and 55%. That's largely because they just started that. And so you see a lot of growth right away because, I mean, perspective is like, when you're just starting, like for me, if I were to launch this website in the first month, I might make only $500, right? And then 6 months down the road, in 1 month, I could make $1,000. So in essentially 6 months, that's 1,000% increase. So it's a lot easier to do when you're really small. Okay, so most of their sales come from North America, 59% come from North America, 32% come from international, 9% web services. That's interesting. Web services is kind of picking up over a large portion of their revenue here. But here's something interesting I saw, is that their most profitable looks like it's actually coming from their web services, which is really interesting. That could be their most profitable thing that they do. It's not from their typical sales here, their North America international sales. It's their web services. So that's something for me to think about actually when I start launching my stuff. So results of operations here. Did we just go through this? I think we did. Yeah, we did. Okay. Operating income. So supplemental information here. So their net sales. Here's one thing I really wanted to look at was their what percentage of their sales come from what? And here's a good breakdown. So in North America, it is $13 billion come from media, $64 billion come from their general merchandise or electronics, and about $1 billion come from other. So they earn a large portion of their revenue from electronics and general merchandise. They don't earn as much from media, which is very interesting. Internationally, it's relatively the same percentages, just less total numbers. Let's see here. So media, they've had similar growth year over year. We're talking 7, 8, 9%. Electronics, 29% per year. They're just growing. It's a 25 to 30% rate for everything, it looks like. Okay. They didn't give a very specific breakdown there, which is unfortunate, but let's see if we can get some more specifics here. 2016. Okay, so the cost of sales is $88 billion for their $135 billion in revenue. So their total operating expenses are $131 billion, and their revenue was $135 billion. So $4 billion profit. Okay, I could see that. I'd like to look at this here. So the cost of sales, I'm guessing this is largely shipping and payroll and employees here. Oh no, fulfillment, that would be shipping, right? So I'm guessing this is payroll expenses, office spaces, distribution, rentals. I guess we'll get into that after. Maybe not, I don't know. Marketing, $7 billion in marketing. Okay, that's a lot. Technology, so that's them research and development. Okay. All right. Let's see if we can get this down here. Cost of sales. So cost of sales primarily consists of the purchase price of consumer products, digital media, content costs, Prime Video, Prime Music, packaging supplies, sortation and delivery centers. Okay, so that's what I thought. Related equipment costs, inbound and outbound shipping costs. Okay, so that's what I thought. So their biggest expenses is the shipping, including transportation service providers, all that stuff. Yep, that's what I thought. So that's their biggest expense. Fulfillment is operating and staffing North America and international centers. So that's their employee costs within the shipping centers. And okay, that's again what I thought. Marketing. Okay, so this is where I'm going to have to be smarter than Amazon somehow. I'm going to need to target. Here's my idea for marketing is that I do see Amazon ads, but it's largely not from Amazon itself. It's largely from Amazon third-party people trying to teach you how to sell on Amazon. So I think I'm going to have to probably pay a little bit more per click than what they're doing right now. And I'm going to be advertising on videos and marketplaces and, you know, Facebook and whatever. I'm going to target people that want to sell on Amazon. That's what I'm going to do, except what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, you know, this is easier to do it on here. We're going to take less commission. It's easier to sell. There's not as much competition. There's not as much hassle. You can sell whatever you want on there. You can sell digital media. You know, that's going to be kind of my, you know, essentially you can do more on my site than you can on Amazon. However, Amazon is more structured. I'm not going to mention that. Amazon's more structured. You know, it's probably safer, even though for buyers it's safer, but for sellers it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And yeah, so that's going to be kind of my strategy here is target people that want to sell on Amazon and get them to sell on my site. And I'm going to be putting in probably at least to start off $1,000 a month into advertising. We're going to probably do a little bit more. Maybe I can probably pump that up to $1.5 to $2 grand, maybe even 3 or 4 if I can really dig into this here. So general administrative, I want to look at the CEO compensation after, actually. I'm just interested in that. Okay, income taxes. Okay, that's all boring stuff. Let's move on to, let's see, we just covered that. What else have I highlighted here? I highlighted the stuff I want to talk about. Okay, so net product sales, 94 billion, net product sales, net service sales. Here's interesting. I dove into Etsy's a little bit here, and so service sales can be more or even like a substantial portion of the total revenue of the company. And so we'll dig into Etsy in another video, probably tomorrow. But like Etsy earns more money from their services and their advertising on their site and their cost per click and their, you know, selling their own products and shipping labels than they do from actual commissions from their site, which is really interesting. And Amazon, I mean, they earn more from their product sales, but service sales ain't no joke here. Service sales is growing more percentage-wise than, well, I guess, no, 2016 is a little bit different here. But it's growing almost as much as their product sales. Maybe even more. Maybe they have percentages later here. So that's something I'm going to have to think about, which I didn't think about until looking at all these reports, is that the actual services within the website, not just the commissions, that can be more profitable than the actual website and sales itself. So that's something for me to think about. Okay, so cost of sales, that we already went through all that stuff here. Earnings per share, okay, that's for stock stuff. We don't have to look at that. Current assets, they have more assets than that. Yeah, 83 billion in assets. So they have 19 billion in cash, which is astounding for a company. I know Apple has like 100 billion or 300 billion, but you know, Amazon, again, 19 billion in cash means it's good, means that they can survive if, you know, things go really bad for at least a year or two. Securities. So what I don't want to talk about in this video actually is Amazon goes, half of this report is essentially what Amazon invests in, because Amazon uses their cash and invests it so that they can grow their cash as a company as a whole. And so they actually invest in AAA securities, but I don't want to dig into that too much because it doesn't tell you too much. It just means that they want to pick up an extra 1 or 2 or 3 or 4% on their money, on their cash. So, I mean, I don't want to dig into that too much about their investing strategy, but maybe in a different video I'll talk about Amazon's investing strategy. So largely here, I mean, but look, this is total current assets here. So property and equipment, $29 billion in assets. So that's their most valuable thing, is their property and equipment that they own. Let's see. And the next would be cash. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Current liabilities. They have $43 billion in unearned, in total current liabilities. Okay. Unearned revenue. Okay. $43 billion in current liabilities. Long-term debt, $7 billion. That's a lot better than I thought. Their long-term debt's gone down, meaning that they are maturing as a company. That's what that means. So very cool. Oh, wait, or are they? Oh, other long-term liabilities went up, though. So I guess that they switched over their debt. That's interesting. Okay, here. Let's see. What else can we get to? What else is interesting that I wanted to talk about? I think I highlighted one more thing, and then maybe we could talk about their CEO compensation and my final thoughts on what's going on here. You know, let's just find their CEO compensation, because I think that was written in here. Compensation. Oh, did I type that in wrong? Compensation. Okay. Let's see if it's somewhere. It's probably down at the bottom here. That's where they like to hide all this stuff. So item part 3 of our proxy statement. Oh, okay. So that's a different thing. Maybe we can't get into that right now. We can look at that in another video. So that's kind of all I really wanted to look at in this video, was their actual breakdown. And so what I took from this is that they're still growing really fast. They're not marketing. They're marketing a lot, but they're not marketing as much as I thought they were, I guess. I thought that it would be more than $7 billion, but they're doing it all through online, so that's going to be competitive. They're doing it largely through AdWords too. I looked into that a little bit earlier. And yeah, so this is Amazon. Amazon, seriously, they are a lot better financially. They're a lot better off financially than I thought going into this report. They have a lot of cash flow, a lot of revenue, and it's interesting because I've been looking at some of these reports, and all e-commerce as a whole is still growing. I mean, eBay is essentially still growing, right? Etsy is growing. And I'm just trying to jump into this with 2 feet here, trying to compete with big guys. And, you know, seeing these billions of dollars number here, it's kind of funny, because is it intimidating? I would be lying if I said no, but I'm not. It hasn't made me lose any confidence. If anything, it's been making me increase in confidence, because it makes me think that the world is just shifting to e-commerce now, and I'm going to try and hop on that train before it's too late. I mean, I'm hopping on the computer, you know, trend like Dell, right? Dell hopped in 10 years late into that, and yet they became I'm not going to be Amazon, right? This could fail. My company could fail. I don't really know. I'm not going to be Amazon, right? I'm not going to be eBay, but could I be a $1 billion company? We'll see what happens. I mean, I'm very confident in everything that I'm doing right now. It's just more about I'm just interested to see where this goes. I still think I have about 4 weeks minimum before I start working on the website itself, because I have 4 weeks to learn the coding. It's probably going to take 4 weeks to have a minimum viable product, maybe even 8 weeks. So we're talking maybe a few more months before the website's actually up and running here. But it's really important for me to know how the back end works. And know what's really funny is that I remember even a few days ago I made a video about, like, I didn't know what databases were, right? I didn't know what back end or front end was. I didn't know what any sort of code was. And now, like, seriously, it's only been a few days. It's been less than a week. And I understand a large portion of how Amazon and how all these big marketplaces actually work on the code level. And I know what the databases do now. I'm going to dig into that a little bit more in the next level of the course of one of the courses I'm going through. I'm going through a bunch right now. But it's really, I understand like a lot of the nitty gritty stuff of Amazon now. And it's a little more simple than you think. It just takes a lot of work. So I don't know. This is just a video of just me going through what competitors look like, and So I think where Amazon clearly has an edge, which I cannot break into, which I got from this, is obviously the shipping places and the distribution centers. I cannot do that right now under any circumstances because I just don't have the infrastructure right now. I think maybe that's why Amazon may have had those net losses in 2014, is because they were setting up that distribution center. And they were getting into that. They were accumulating all those expenses without producing income from them. So, I don't know. I don't know how I'm going to wrap this video up. I just want to, this is what this video is about. It's just me vlogging essentially what it's like to build a business. And I'm just looking at my competitors right now. I'm going to look at Etsy tomorrow, I think, because Etsy's really interesting because they are a very niche marketplace, and I don't want to be a niche marketplace. I'm going to take a look at Jet, but I don't think that they're a public company too, and eBay obviously. But Etsy is interesting because they were founded a lot later than the other ones, and they've become a over $1 billion company, and I think that's what I got to aim for here. But anyways, I think that the moral of this video here is just, you know, chin up, and Amazon's a good company. They're doing a lot, and they say in their mission statement they want to become a monopoly, essentially. So I don't know. I was also thinking of this too, so we're gonna get into this maybe a little bit. But what if, like, just completely off the top of my head, what if I were to build this company up, okay, theoretically, and it does very well, and it cash flows, and it's a very profitable company. It gets to whatever, $1 billion company, like 500 million or $1 billion revenue, which would be a lot. Maybe just a market cap, like a valuation of $1 billion. So maybe revenue of 250 million. What would happen if, like, a Google or someone that doesn't have a marketplace, or an Apple, but they kind of do, what if they were to approach me and say, hey, I'd want to buy it? What would I do in that situation? Would I sell off the company? I don't really know. I know that's thinking very far ahead, but it was just a random thought I had today. Like, what if the company does get built up to even 50 million or 25 million? That's a lot of money. Would I sell it? I don't know. I don't really know. It's a random thought I had. So anyways, this is a little bit of a ramble here. Again, it's important to kind of vlog this stuff. So I'll be vlogging, I'll be doing some more breakdowns of some competitors in the next few days here, because I want to learn about them and what they do and where their expenses are going. For Amazon, it just seems like a lot of their expenses are going towards their actual employees and their distribution centers. And they're not as profitable. I guess another thing to take from this, they are profitable of billions of dollars, but based on their revenue, their margins are fairly small. We're talking 3-4% margins here. So, and they're becoming more profitable every single year, but they don't have big margins yet. I think that for me, because an advantage that I have is that it's just me. The advantage of starting a business yourself is you don't have overhead costs. Like, my overhead cost is rent, right? It's like rent, living expenses. That's it. And I can keep those to under $2,000 a month. So maybe if I live really, probably a little bit more than $2,000, but I don't know. That's the advantage I have. The way I see it is that I don't have overhead. I don't have obligations or responsibilities. Any money that I make isn't gonna, I don't have to put it overseas or take any tax breaks or whatever when I start. And I can make decisions really quickly. I know Amazon's really good at that though. Amazon's one of the very few companies where I can seriously give props to about how quick they move, because like, you look at a bunch of giant companies and look at even a company like Google and Apple, they can take a while to implement new ideas, but Amazon, they get a new idea. Jeff Bezos implemented in the company within a month, which is really, really fast. So I don't know. A long way to go, guys. I got a long way to go, but I want to hop on this train before it leaves the station. I don't think it's left yet. I don't know. But I'm going to build it, and we're going to see what happens. So maybe, actually, I should look at Shopify's after, too. I want to look at Shopify, and I want to look at some of those other places, online marketplace stores. I don't want to be like a Shopify. I want to be more of an Amazon, of like a website and you can sell your stuff on this site, rather than a Shopify, set up your own custom store and pay us for it. And, you know, I don't want to be as much of a Shopify. So, I still need to come up with a new name too. So that's stuff that's going to come up in the next couple of weeks. I'll keep you guys updated. That's the Amazon breakdown. That's my thoughts. Hopefully you guys learned something from this video. I know it's a little bit laid back and it's a little bit more personal, but it's important to talk about because I'm documenting the process of building an actual business. Maybe I should make a whole separate video on this, but you know, you got so many people out there talking about, you know, how to make money on Amazon, right? Solopreneurs. And I talk about that stuff too. I talk about how to make money in stock market and real estate. And what else do I talk about? How to make money selling stuff on websites, right? And that's really cool. And I'm going to show you guys how to make money on my site, which I'm going to do. But I don't know too many people that have documented the process of building an entrepreneurship company. Of like hiring other people, not just making money for yourself, but making money for others too, and hiring people. And so this would be really cool if it takes off. And that's all I'll say. So I'd like to thank you very much for watching. You're all very beautiful people, and I'll see you guys in the next video.